Hello, we're delighted to have you back at the Okefenokee Heritage Center. We are in the rotating exhibit room, and we're delighted to have Marla Howell with us today, who has been kind enough to set up this room, and she's done a splendid job. And she's going to be gracious enough today to donate some of her time to give us a little narrative of the room and what she's done. So stick around with us, and I think you'll enjoy this.
Good afternoon. There's been a lot of history in Waycross about baseball and our Memorial Stadium. I've had people walk in, I've got the cafe downtown, and they've told me, was that a baseball stadium? Just by looking at it from the outside. So we have a treasure here in Waycross. It started out, Memorial Stadium was actually built for the Milwaukee Braves, and it was a farm team. Milwaukee Braves came through. They did all of their practicing out at our industrial park where the military base was. So during that period of time, they would play games with the Florida League, the Florida Georgia League, and have different games throughout the season. Later on, it became our baseball and football location, where the stadium was used for baseball for the high school, and then they would transfer it over and play football. In today's world, we have it just as our football stadium for Ware County High School. Beautiful all-night sings were done in the stadium at one point in time. There's a picture here that shows, and the cars are just all over park, that they would have thousands of people with probably between 14 and 18 bands or groups that would play during the course of the night from sunset to sundown. And then at one point in time as well, they even had rodeos in the stadium. That was eliminated when some of the boys claimed that they had gotten a little sick or not feeling well after one of the rodeos, so they eliminated any of that to be happening in the stadium as well. Some of the displays, the baseball heritage in Waycross is actually rolls back to the early 1900s. We had a baseball field that's been undetermined as to its original location, that even Shoeless Joe Jackson was the manager of for a 3-year period. So we've had that heritage here, and you'll see that they had a black team as well, the Black Crackers, the big leagues, the Brooklyn farm teams came through, and that's some of the pictures that are here. The individual that's on this board that he's going to show you here in just a second was Robert Johnson, and he was the groundskeeper of the field right here when it was at the industrial park, the 4 fields. He also then moved to the Atlanta Braves and retired from the Atlanta Braves as their groundskeeper. On the top of the little formation here is an individual by the name of Mickey Cobb. Mickey was born here. He went on to do sports medicine and training with the Kansas City Royals, and he's grateful enough to come back and talk about his time in baseball with the kids. He's been here several times, and we're glad to have Mickey around to be able to do that too. So we've got some great individuals that were actually born here in Waycross that went into the baseball field. One of them years ago was Greek George. Greek George he went into actually Major League Baseball, and during his course of time, he was also one of the first players that bet on the game, and they released him from the from the National League. But he was born in Waycross. We had what was referred to at one point in time, anything from the Waycross Bears to the Braves, and it was the Milwaukee Braves at one point in time, and it was their minor league. The Milwaukee team got sold to Quebec, And Quebec then sold them to Atlanta. So in today's world, we know them as the Atlanta Braves. There's several different items here. We've got some books. Waycross used to have a really neat little book that they would send out on a monthly basis. So Ware County Times. And it would have all kinds of stories of different events in town. It would have people's homes in it. It was just a nice little book, and they really did a great job on the spring training camp and a lot of information about Bravesville. These are pictures of when Shoeless Joe was here. So our roots in baseball goes all the way back to the early 1900s of 1909. About 1908 is when the construction apparently of that first original baseball field was made. We had the coastliners. Then the coastliners transferred into the Bears. So we had all kinds of history. We've got a couple different flyers of the coastliners from the newspaper ads here. There's several pictures and even a brochure that is on the internet that you can look up for the Milwaukee Braves. And it has a lot of great history about the beginning of the baseball leagues here in the Georgia, Florida area. Hank Aaron, in his book, you'll find out that he actually, every weekend, they would bring a bus in with the baseball players from our industrial park area into town. They would be able to buy their supplies or get their hair cut. And Hank Aaron missed the bus going back to the field. And he ran through the fields to go out to the industrial park, to the field baseball training camp again. And during that run, got shot at going through the fields. So he remembers he only remembered Waycross very well from being shot at while he was going back out to the baseball field. And that is in his book. Jackie Robinson played a game here at Waycross and did hit several balls. One of them that did go over the back fence. So I've had people come in and tell me the stories of sitting with their fathers and watching so many baseball players that did participate here in Waycross with our Memorial Stadium. So we have an enormous amount of history in Waycross, and it would be a benefit to you, your family. The children need to know what a great area that they have and the history that they can learn here in Waycross, Georgia.
Marla, thank you so very much for your time. It was excellent, just excellent hearing your stories. You need to, if you haven't seen this display, take a little time and come out and see it because it's worthwhile, it's educational, and this lady has done an excellent job of presenting it to us, and we're very grateful. Thank you once again, Marla.
Thank you.